Hi everyone, I'm Eva Moore. This is Evolution for May 26, 2017. I've been kind of, just taking care of business, checking my blind spots, doing some personal inventory, all the necessary things. So I'm back for now to share an idea I had that I feel is really important and I wanted to share with everyone. So in the past, I've been talking about the Pontiff decree in 2013, and also I should mention the 2008 declaration that the Pope made demanding that Swiss banks give up basically the names of Americans who were hiding and laundering money through Swiss banks. Potentially, money occurred through child sex trade, child pornography, and terrorism. So from that, there was the 2013 Pontiff decree to bag 'em and tag 'em. We saw the cleanup with the liable scandal, the HSBC Mexico, Deutsche Bank, etc., etc., etc. But today I want to talk about the exchange of gifts that happened between Pope Francis and Donald Trump. So most of you out there may not have even seen this coverage of what was exchanged. So Pope Francis gave Donald Trump a document he wrote or had written that was submitted in 2015 about climate change. Now, I believe this all ties back to the Paris Accord and the whole carbon issue. So for those of you that don't grasp the fact that the carbon issue is about how many human beings are on the earth exhaling carbon dioxide. This document could be potentially a bit concerning. It is to me. Now, secondly, the gift that Donald Trump gave to Pope Francis. This is what I want to talk about today. And I find it actually very interesting. Okay. Donald Trump gave Pope Francis a box set of Martin Luther King's recording or books. And so on the surface, it, speaks to human rights activism, Black lives activism, Black rights. And, in the wake of all of the immigration, border, the stop on some of the countries immigrating or even visiting into the United States, this is something kind of promising, and I'm sure on many levels it's legitimate. Now, but when you back up and ask yourself, who is Martin Luther King potentially named after? This, is what I want to talk about tonight. And so Martin Luther was named, I believe, or potentially it's a tongue-in-cheek nod, tip of the hat, to Martin Luther, who was a German monk, who was very influential in the Protestant Reformation, and who basically took the Catholic Church to task, and specifically the papal bull. For all of you that don't know what the papal bull is, this is a very controversial document, basically a letter patent that the Pope wrote under the laws of three that give Rome and the Pope and the Vatican control of humanity. And a lot of times we'll hear that the papal bull was written potentially on the flesh of a human child. So there's a lot of controversy around the papal bull. So next, what does it mean, and who is Martin Luther, the German monk? Well, Martin Luther was a German monk who went into law and was born in 1483, and he took very much to heart the practice of the Disputation of Indulgences, and this is what his thesis was written about. His thesis was called the 95 Thesis, the Disputation on the Power of Indulgences. And so it was an academic, basically, white paper that he submitted to the Pope at the time, and by nailing it to the door of the church, which took to task and challenged the 14th century papal bull. that stated the Pope could use treasury of merit and the good deeds of past saints to forgive temporal punishments for sins. So basically it said that the saints had accumulated enough good karma points that at certain times people could repent for their sin and then buy a certificate. So pay a bishop to write up a certificate that said, they were completely forgiven for their sins on earth, and they had repented, and they didn't have to do any more good deeds to earn merit points back. Well, to Martin Luther, this was heresy, and this is, a huge divergent turn from the original apostolic creed, which of the 12 apostles that Jesus had left as the Christhood to teach the gospel, embody the gospel, and retain and forgive sins. So by being able to buy a certificate that this is what this certificate of indulgences or disputation of indulgences was about, is that they could basically bribe a bishop and say, okay, I do repent and I am sorry, but can we just get on to me getting on to good life, because here's some money and write me the certificate. So this pissed Martin Luther off, and he wrote this white paper, the 95 Thesis, the Disputation of Power of Indulgences, contradicting the papal bull, and basically submitted it to the Pope, and he was excommunicated for this. However, this basically led to impacting Zurich, which potentially banking laws and such, and also the Geneva Convention, because it influenced Geneva as well. So what are we dealing with here? We're dealing with a gift that Donald Trump gave the Pope that could basically be a tongue-in-cheek way, tip of the hat, to say, in regards to, the Anthony Weiner, the Podesta, the Pizzagate, the cleanup that's going on within the swamp in DC, a throwback to Martin Luther, who basically put the Catholic Church on check and limited the papal powers. So this is amazing, and it's huge, and it does go back to the schism, which was what divided. So you had the original, Christian movement, then Jesus came, he died, he left his apostolic creed to the apostles, the 12 apostles, went on, Judas became a traitor, and then basically Peter declared that in Psalm 109.8 that let his bishopric, hard thing to say, his bishopric let another take, meaning when eventually the church started to grow, or if a bishop fell from grace, that eventually there would have to be the opportunity for other people to take on the bishophood and the role of being an embodiment of Christ and teaching the gospel and retaining of sins and forgiving of sins. So this is where we're seeing, the divergence of what the original apostolic creed was. And this is what led to the Council of Nicaea and, a lot of the eventual division of the Christian movement that split into the Catholic Church and the Orthodox. And then, we had the Protestant movement and Lutheran and Gnosticism come out of all of that. So the fact that we seem to be returning power, if you follow MT Kesh has been doing an excellent job at showing and talking about things going on behind the scenes, which tie to Pizzagate and all of that as well. So this is exciting, very exciting. And I think as co-creators, we need this information, and we need to be able to basically be able to see through the plausible deniability factors so that we can co-create. Because if we don't have enough information, it's hard for us to ingest and then radiate out through our wishes or our prayers what's written on our hearts in accordance with God's will. So I hope this helps kind of peek through the curtain a little bit and empowers us, because I think some actually really good things are happening. And God bless Donald Trump God bless the people who are coming forward as whistleblowers. God bless the people who are repenting and entrusting that there is a salvation for them. And God bless the people who are getting their hands dirty, rolling up their sleeves to get this work done. So, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.